Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to talk about if you should apply for a consulting firm because there are a lot of misconceptions that people have on whether they are eligible for consulting, on whether they should even prepare a CV for a McKinsey or a Bain or Accenture or EY. So I thought that let's make yet another video on consulting and help you really understand what these firms look for from a CV shortlisting perspective before you decide to put in that effort and prepare for interviews. But before I get started, just a small request. It's a growing channel. We have been able to reach out to a lot of our prospective learners, and we have received a lot of heartwarming feedback and support. So would request you to like the video and subscribe the channel if you have benefited from our work till now in terms of CV making, consulting careers, and B school preparation. Awesome, let's get started. So as I was mentioning that, despite making so many videos on consulting careers and consulting interviews, I hear that there are a lot of college graduates, early professionals who, end up texting on LinkedIn, reaching out on WhatsApp through our website. And the question always is the same. That's Sarthak, I come from XYZ background. I have worked with Tata Motors for 3 years. I've worked with a SaaS startup for 5 years. I have worked with a Swiggy, Zomato in operations for 2 years. Do you think consulting firms will even shortlist me? That's the typical question. Now, I want to answer that question in this video, right? So let's get started. So when it comes to what do consulting firms look for in your CV, there are three things that I can, really bucket this into. The first always is measurable impact, quantifiable impact in your work experience. Now, work experience can be full-time work or you working on your startup, or if you're a college grad, you having interned with an organization. Now, when I say quantifiable impact, I don't care where you come from. You can be somebody who has done academic research for a laboratory. You can be somebody who has worked with an edtech startup for 5 years in business development. You can be somebody who is an army veteran. You can be somebody who is an actor or a fashion stylist or an architect or a CA. It does not matter where you come from. What matters more, and the only thing that matters in your work experience section, which is a sizable section for a lot of us in our CV, is that I should be able to see impact in terms of teams led, projects delivered, appraisals, appreciation, awards, promotions in your key achievements and key engagements in your CV, right? Irrespective of your industry, your team name, your job title, I as a recruiter should be able to see that this candidate, in whichever organization they have worked in whichever domain they come from, has been one of the top performers. Now, there are a lot of ways to show this. There are ways like, you talk about your work, try to flesh out numbers in terms of revenue generated, cost optimized, man hours saved, and other quantifiable metrics if possible in terms of, my recommendations led to this much business impact or this much projected business volume. So try to ensure that whatever you have done, be it an internship or be it a full-time work try to ensure that you can quantify that in terms of the outcome that you have achieved or your team has achieved, and mention that in the CV. Trust me, consulting firms love numbers, right? And when you give those numbers to them in the work experience section, when you start off with an action verb and you talk about the fact that, helped generate rupees 2 crores of annual revenue by undertaking this initiative, they would love that, right? Now, I know I've said this before, but trust me, a lot of people don't introspect, don't look inwards, don't reach out to their previous employer or colleague to help them out with these numbers, right? And they get lethargic and lazy and they think that, I'll submit my normal CV, which is a qualitative CV with no numbers, and I'll get a shortlist. That's something which does not work. That's why I'm saying again and again, quantifiable, measurable impact in your work section really matters. That effort that you put in to add one number or one metric in your CV in one bullet pointer will really go a long way in terms of you getting shortlisted, right? So that's the first thing, which is quantifiable, measurable impact in your work experience and internships. I think the second thing which really matters or is looked at or is appreciated is academic consistency and excellence. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have an academically excellent background, you will not get through consulting. You can obviously showcase spikes in the work experience section, in the extracurricular section, but academic excellence is one thing that recruiters look out for, which can compensate for you not having done a lot of good work or internships. When I say academic excellence, it simply means, being the top 5, top 10% of your 10th, 12th, college, wherever possible, or B school. And barring that, it can be, I've done a CA, CFA, these well-renowned certifications also. And try to mention a, a relative estimate, a quantifiable impact in these things also. If you got an 8.5 on 10 CGPA in your college, which is, let's say, Hindu College, Delhi University, I as a recruiter don't know if 8.5 in your college is good or bad. You will have to tell me that, Sarthak, it was top 5%, or I was ranked 3 out of 200 students in those brackets after your CGPA, for me to really appreciate that, okay, you have done good work in terms of academics. And if it's a CA, if you passed it in the first attempt, if it's a CFA, if you had a 90th plus percentile in all the sections, those things really matter, right? So that's there. And the last thing which really helps you compensate for subpar experience, let's say in other areas of the CV, or subpar impact in other sections of the CV, is extracurriculars, right? So extracurricular excellence or a recurring theme in extracurriculars simply means that either I showcase that I have done a bunch of stuff, volunteering, debating, swimming, placement committee, different one bullet pointers for each of these things. That signals that this candidate has undertaken a wide variety of initiatives in college or B school. Or you pick a couple of themes only, let's say only volunteering and only stand-up comedy, and you talk about them as separate headers in your extracurricular section. So one header can be stand-up comedy, and bullet pointers can be co-founded the stand-up comedy club in MIT Manipal, or it can be, performed in 10 live stand-up comedy shows across organizations ABC, or won this competition in stand-up comedy. So you pick one section, but you dive deeper into what you did across and throughout the years. And volunteering can be, volunteered with Make a Difference, New Delhi chapter, consulted a lot of startups on a pro bono basis, or taught underprivileged children in, let's say, North Delhi, a school in North Delhi. So extracurricular excellence simply means telling me that you have had a recurring impact in one area or one theme. So that really helps you stand out in the last section of the CV. So just to summarize, there are 3 avenues to showcase impact or showcase that you're worthy of a consulting shortlist, irrespective of your background, domain, liberal arts, commerce, CA, engineering, I don't care. The recruiter does not care. If irrespective of your educational or professional background, you are able to show me either of these 3 things, which is quantifiable, measurable impact in WorkX or internships, excellence and consistency in academics, or recurring themes of passion and performance in extracurriculars, then you stand a good chance to get a consulting shortlist. That's what I wanted to talk about today. But before I wrap up this video, you will ask me that, Sarthak, okay, you are telling me that my background, which is if I am from liberal arts or law or political science, it does not matter. Then isn't that weird? Because all other functions like product management, recruiters, they look for engineers. In finance, recruiters look for CFAs and CAs. So why is that not there, or why is that background based preferential treatment not there in consulting? The simple reason is that consultants, for a lack of a better word, solve business problems of all kinds. They work with startups, they work with corporates, they work with fintech clients, agri-tech clients, edtech clients, everybody, right? So these firms, instead of looking at your static business knowledge or knowledge in one domain or from one background, they look for impact, they look for great communication skills, they look for people who can deliver results irrespective of where they come from. That's why you have these 3 avenues to showcase impact in your CV. But I hope this video was helpful, and I hope if this was helpful, you go ahead and apply for consulting firms if consulting is an industry that excites you, and I'll see you very soon.